Functional verification remains the greatest hurdle in IC development. Even though there have been many innovations over the past decades in the verification space, test content production remains very time-consuming and error-prone. This has now changed with the advent of test suite synthesis based on portable stimulus. As an analogy, prior to the invention of GPS navigation, we had to rely on maps to find our way from point A to point B.
Why don't you just ask the guy over there?
Are we there yet?
Of course, today we have navigators where we specify our intent by inputting where we want to go, maybe add some constraints such as no highways, and the navigator implements the route options for us. This approach is very similar to test suite synthesis. Years ago, we learned that for design, separating intent from implementation by using synthesis saved time and increased design quality. Furthermore, it became possible to easily optimize the same RTL intent for different ASIC technologies. Constraints were added to change the nature of the design without touching the intent description. At last, we can now do the same thing for verification. We enter the verification intent similar to how we might draw it on a whiteboard. We can apply coverage goals based on design functionality. The synthesis tool then generates high-quality test content and optimizes it for the verification platform being used from IP to post-silicon. With this production-proven method in use at leading design houses, we can now avoid many of today's verification bottlenecks.
Why don't you just ask Ravi?
Are we there yet with those tests, Jim?
Clearly, it would be a lot better if we could do this instead. We specify verification intent either graphically or using the portable stimulus standard language. The intent description implicitly includes checks, stimulus, and coverage, which the synthesis tool extracts from the test content. It's like drawing out your intent scenario on a whiteboard. The Breker synthesis tool expands all the possible paths that could be tested, and the graph is walked to produce the test content. We are able to analyze coverage prior to test generation to see how effective the tests would be. We can then set coverage goals upfront to tell the tool what tests to synthesize for specific verification platforms. This results in high coverage test content that finds numerous corner cases difficult to replicate manually. The synthesis tool generates the self-checking test content. The multi-threaded tests can execute as UVM sequences on the ports of a block or as C-code threads on an SoC multi-core processor. The tests execute as shown and may be debugged or profiled for design performance. For more information, download the white paper or go to brekersystems.com.
We should have bought Breker.